today we're going to go over whether something is passive, a sentence is passive or active. The game had been won by the blue team. Abby.
Number 1 is passive because the blue team is mentioned at the end of the sentence and not the beginning.
Okay. The stuntman risked his life. Active or passive, and tell me who or what is actually doing the action.
It's active because the stuntman risked his life.
Right. The stuntman is doing the action and he's risking. Tuesday we read Letter from a Birmingham Jail by Martin Luther King. I gave you guys discussion questions. Someone, can you tell me what was or summarize the entire idea of Dr. King's letter? Tell me in your own words, summarize it. Okay, Peyton.
He was trying to tell the people who were criticizing him that their actions were justified because of how the police were acting.
What you're going to do, we're going to have class discussion, but it's student-led, meaning I'm going to pose the question. You have something to add to it. Pick up your hand. Tell me what you think. Now, remember, from day one, I told you guys, if you have an opinion, that is fine, but if you have nothing to back it up, it's invalid. You have to cite a source, especially for those that are based on quotations, okay? I'm going to keep this up here because the questions will be up here for those of you that do not have your papers. And emotions in the letter had the greatest impact on you. All right, Peyton.
When he said, I must close now, but before closing I am impelled to mention one other point in your statement that troubled me profoundly. You warmly commended the Birmingham police force for keeping order and preventing violence. I don't believe you would have so warmly commended the police force if you had seen its angry, violent dogs literally biting 6 unarmed, non-violent Negroes.
Okay, so
I have tried to make it clear that it is wrong to use immoral means to attain moral ends. But now I must affirm that it is just as wrong or even more so to use moral means to preserve immoral ends.
Okay, what's the most important part of that one? Tell me.
That he's saying that he doesn't approve using unethical ways to achieve their righteous goal.
Radical profundity, meaning he knows that this is improper to say, the way it's worded, but it has depth to it. My feet is tired, but my soul is rested. Now, that is a good one. What is that? A different meaning to this. This is up to you. You tell me what you think this means. How could this apply to now? And your goal as a student, or even in today's time, how could this be applicable?
I think if I'm sore, if I don't want to do it or whatever, but emotionally I love it, so I want to put in the work and I go in the gym and I still kill it.
Yeah. All right. Do you have to technically cause a ruckus or protest to cause change, or do things eventually change on their own?
You don't have to. You can convince somebody to do it. You have good enough.
Persuasion.
Yeah, you can persuade somebody to do it.
Okay.
Not like protest.
All right, Luke.
I think that you can't, because I mean nobody's going to listen to just one person. You got to have people to back your ideas. Because I mean think about it. If say they wanted to change, like say just some law, they're not just going to listen to one person in the thousands of millions of people in America.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a lot of people to back their ideas.
Okay, good. Sam.
I kind of believe that you do have to stand up if you want something to happen, because sitting back and just letting things play on will never work. But I also believe that you don't have to cause a ruckus or have a riot or do this. There's a peaceful way in going about it.
Okay. Civil disobedience.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Abby.
I completely agree with that. I think if you want to get what you want, then you need to speak up. Otherwise, no one is going to pay attention to it. They're going to be paying attention to other things that other people are talking about. And if you don't speak up about what you want, then you're not going to get it.
Okay. Caitlin.
Like Samantha said, you do need to draw some type of attention to it so it can get noticed, but you don't need to be like lighting up fires in the middle of places, and you could be peaceful about it.
Okay. Claudette.
I agree with Abby, Sam, and Kaden, because don't need to like do something violently, but you have to do something that stands out, so they like go towards the cause. Like peaceful protesting, that's gonna get the people's attention, so they can actually think about the cause instead of just sitting back and not and then eventually happen, but take years.
Okay.
I disagree. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Because if you keep it peaceful, they just don't get aggravated with it and they gotta do it. I mean, I disagree.
Off the camera.
No, I disagree.
So she's saying sometimes you have to have a right, or sometimes you have to stand up for what you gotta do.
Okay. Samantha.
Can I add that, like, also, nobody, well, some people claim they are, but nobody is a mind reader. So if you want something to happen, you can't just, oh, well, I want this to happen, but I'm not gonna do anything about it. So you have to at least do something, but it doesn't always have to be, like.
Do you think using like hashtags and tweets and things of that nature to cause a change, does that even matter? Is that a valid way to get information out?
Yeah.
Go.
Yes, because like when you think about it now in this like millennium, everyone turns to social media. So like if you're on social media, you're first thing to look at.
Okay.
Because not everybody has social media network, you know.
The
Speak a
majority,
little louder. Go ahead.
the
Go
majority
ahead.
of the people in the world go on social media. So the majority of people are.
Not everybody has social media
I know.
accounts and everything.
That's why I said majority.
Okay, so you're saying because not everybody has it, it makes it not as valuable as protesting, or it's still valuable? Tell me.
It's valuable, but protesting speaks louder. I mean, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean that everybody's gonna, I don't know, like, if you protest, you can make it on the news and everybody watches the news. Pretty much everybody.
Okay. Sonny.
There's probably thousands of protests that's going on in the United States or anywhere, and you maybe see one or two on the news. You don't see every protest that's going on or every riot that's going on in the news. Social media like Twitter, I mean, you can text a bunch of your people and tell them to go retweet or favorite your tweet to spread it out, and then all kind of other people in different states are gonna see it. They're gonna start seeing it. Everybody's gonna start joining it. I mean, it's easier to get it out on a social media.
Okay. Ab.
I agree with that because, like, okay, you'll see a commercial and it'll be like, use this hashtag to raise awareness for this, and then everyone starts using the hashtag. It becomes really popular. It starts trending, and then it gets more attention from the media. So then it's raising awareness for a cause through using that method
Okay.
of doing it.
You still want to? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, like Chandler made a really good point because a lot of people do watch the news, but at the same time, like, protests are more effective in, like, whenever you actually have a protest. And internet protests are really effective too, but the only problem with that is it's easily manipulative. Like, a lot of people could be misinformed
It
about
says, do you
something.
generally support taking part in civil disobedient actions? Would you do it? Why or why not? If the answer is yes, what circumstances would you choose to
I say
act civilly?
absolutely. And I might be contradicting myself later, but in times of danger, I truly would. If someone like Eric Garner, how you say his name, was a family member of mine, I would more than likely be protesting as well. In a time, if it were to ever come, that the country would be going back into troubles with segregation and real racial issues, then I would take part in civil disobedient actions. This country belongs to everybody, everyone, and every citizen deserves to fight for what belongs to them. Like Malcolm X said, by any means.
There are civil protests, and you know there's the other side, occurring throughout the United States. In your opinion, do you feel these protests are effective or ineffective? And how are they similar? So if you're doing similarities and differences, what is that called? You're comparing and contrasting good to those of the civil rights. So what I have here, there's a picture. You have, we marched with Selma. I didn't put Birmingham because the whole thing was Birmingham. You have in the civil rights era, and then you have I Can't Breathe, which is actually happening now, or Don't Shoot with your hands up. Is this actually effective? And I'm not saying tell me it's right or wrong that these people are doing this, because we don't know the motives of people. But is it right? Was it right is it effective that Martin Luther King decided to write this letter and protest with the people during civil rights? Is it effective that now in America you have groups of people throughout this country, protesting, is that effective, or are they doing this for nothing? And consider, right now you have people protesting after the information is released that these people will not be indicted or not. Is it effective to do it now? Was it then? Trey Gary.
We won't know until later on because the civil rights movement took 14 years.
Okay.
To achieve change. And it's not going to happen overnight in all these other protests. So it takes time.
Takes time. Okay. Good.
I agree, like Sam, Sunny, and Abby, like they all have like great opinions. But like earlier in one of the questions, Peyton made a statement. She was like, even like whenever you protest in the wrong reasons, like I was 100% on it and like about it. It's still a dangerous thing, but like you would do it. But these people, like they're not 100%. Like they're just here just for like, you know how you said about the T-shirt, you know, just like for the look of it. Like because they're gonna pass by the camera and be like, "What's up? You saw me there, right?" But it's really like they could like get hurt. Like people are burned. Like they burned down a church. Like whenever I was in Kansas City, but that was like right down the road from where we were. Like why would you burn down a church? Like that's like a safe haven for some people. Like why would you do that? You're just ruining yourself. Like you're just ruining your soul. Like you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to keep everybody safe. Like protesting like a silent way. Like how the girl has something taped to her mouth. Like you're not gonna speak. Like you can't breathe. Like you're being held down or something. Like this is how it's supposed to feel. But like they're taking it into like a totally different way. Like they're gonna hurt people. Like what if somebody was in that church and they didn't know?
Right.
What if what if it was a Catholic church and in a confessional, like they were telling about their sins and like they didn't know. They could have totally like harmed like so many people, but they didn't care in the moment. Like they weren't thinking about that.
So they're doing things irrationally,
Exactly.
trying to make a change, but